good to see you. Today's story is amazing. We're talking about a guy called Jonah. Have you ever heard Jonah before? Jonah was a pretty cool guy, and God asked him to go and talk to people about God. And, well, he didn't want to go, so he went in the other direction, which meant he got swallowed by a big fish. I know, crazy, right? Now, first up, we're going to sing a song, but I want you all up on your feet, and I want to see some really, really cool dance moves, okay?
I've got to hopper to jumper, catch me a craft, go to Nineveh, I'm really not daft. Where can I go to escape your request? I'm Tarshish bound, it seems for the best. Asleep in the deep, so unaware that you're the Lord of everywhere. A storm rolls in, it can't be ignored. There's no choice, I'm going overboard. Now a dish for a fish, it's dark inside. Even in here, I can't hide. So I confess, you hear my plea. I'm sicked right out disgustingly. I'm ready and steady to go, go, go. Those nasty Ninevites will get a God show. They're evil and horrible, deserve what they'll get. This prophet is coming, I'll preach, you bet. Take it away. Talking, this city is lost. Nineveh, I shout, God is cross. You do your own thing, ignore his commands. In 40 days, judgment lands. Watching and awaiting to see fire fall. But I've got a sneaky feeling you'll forgive them all. I know they've said sorry, turn things around, but Lord God above, your mercy I can't stand. You know I'm seething, disbelieving, you're forgiven instead. I'm so dismayed, I'd be better off dead. I don't like your grace and mercy from above. I wish you'd get angry and weren't full of love. I'm pouting and shouting, would you forgive me? Show me your love, grace and pity. If I turned away from living for you, would you show me your mercy too? It was smelly in that belly, I suddenly can see my anger and my hatred, my hypocrisy. I too was on the run, living my own way, when your waves of love and mercy wash my sins away. I too was on the run, living my own way, when your waves of love and mercy wash my sins away.
Sweet.
What?
What do you call a fish with 2 legs? A 2-knee fish.
Oh dear.
Sweet.
Yes?
What do you call a fish with no legs?
No legs?
Dunno. A fish.
Oh, Turnip, that's a stupid joke. Hello, so welcome back to the kitchen. Now, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit more about how much I love food, okay? But part of why I love food is you can be so creative with it. If you're struggling with activities at home, actually doing cooking together is an amazing activity. So I'm going to show you a little under the sea themed salad so that we can have fun with our food, okay? So we're going to use some pasta today, and I have had so much fun looking at different types. So part of this is that you can go to a shop and you can choose your favourite type of pasta. So this one even has little bunnies and little shapes in there. Or we have some really swirly ones. Or there's ones that look like shells. Wouldn't that be perfect for under the sea? Or we have some like this, and this has a bit of a different colour, and it's called whole wheat. This is what we're going to use. Okay, so before we start with anything else, we're going to go and cook the pasta. Okay, so we have got our cooked pasta and we're going to put that to the side because we want it to cool down completely. And now we get to move on to some of the fun stuff. Now I have chosen a few vegetables to put into this, and you could choose loads of different things. You could put cheese in here, you could put cucumber, you could put carrots, celery, lots and lots of different things. But I have chosen some very beautiful peppers because they're so colourful, and some sweet corn because it's so yummy. Okay, I am going to cut out the centre of my pepper first so that we can get rid of all the seeds. So I'm going to cut off the top all the way around. Now please do ask for an adult to be present, but adults, don't be too scared with using knives and practicing cutting these together. So we are taking all of that middle bit out like this, and then we have that little cup. Perfect thing for children to do. That is so sensory and so fun. Then we're going to cut it in half because we're going to make some shapes with it. So you can cut this however you want. So I am going to get a little bit creative with this now, and I'm going to cut out the shape of a fish. There we go. There's one fish, so we've got a red fish now, so I'm going to put that to the side. And then we're just going to cut this up, and I'm going to make it into little pieces. Now that I have done my red pepper, I'm going to do exactly the same with my yellow and my green pepper, so that I have 3 little fish that are all different colours and lots of beautiful coloured pepper. Okay, so look at how beautiful that is. So we've got lots and lots of different colours in there, and flavours and shapes, and we have cut out 3 fish. Right, next up. Okay, so now we're going to make our dressing for our salad. Now you could use all sorts of different things, but I am choosing to use some mayonnaise, and I'm going to add a little bit of salad cream. That's going to give it a little bit of taste. And then we're going to mix that up too. Perfect, look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Make sure it's all mixed in. You could put some salt and pepper in at this stage. You could use different dressings, but I'm going to use that because it's really creamy. And now it's the fun part of putting it all together. So I'm going to start by putting some of my pasta. Not all of it just yet, but some of it. We're going to watch all of these beautiful colours and textures all come together. And then I'm going to put my tuna. All of my tuna, and mix it around a little bit. And again, it's quite fun to mix each stage so that you can see this beautiful experiment of everything mixing together happen. And then I'm going to add my dressing, my sauce that we've made. Look at that, amazing. And now we're going to add in our sweet corn, or whatever you've chosen to use, and our peppers. Now let's have a look at that beautiful colour. Look at that red. It's just so lovely. And then we can mix in the rest of our pasta. Now I've done it like that, so some of it is coated and some of it you can see the browns and the different colours in the pasta as well. Beautiful. And then, because we're making an under the sea themed pasta salad, now the last thing we can do is add our fish onto the top. And there we go. Look at that. Okay, let's dish some up so that we can share it with our family. Oh, it's so colourful. What are you going to put in your pasta salad? And then I'm going to add one of the fish. Perfect, look at that. Okay, let's try it.
Tweed!
What?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Water.
Water who?
What you waiting for? Open the door.
Dear. Good morning, Maggie.
Hello, Ruth. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Are you going to pray with us again?
We are going to pray
I'm
again.
so excited. I love talking to God.
Oh, I love talking to God too. And it's great to do it with you guys at home
Yes,
too.
yes.
So today, in your packs, you'll have found this little sheet which talks about prayer. And today we're praying with the help of the story of Jonah. So I'm going to read you the little bit from the book about Jonah. I didn't like the people who lived in the city of Nineveh. They were awful, nasty people who deserved to be punished. But for some reason, God loved them anyway. God wanted to forgive them and wanted me to tell them that. That made me mad. I wasn't going to do that. In fact, I ran away as far as I could from Nineveh. And then I got in a whole lot of trouble.
Uh-oh.
3 days and nights in the belly of a big fish set me straight. I went to Nineveh and did what God told me to do. And sure enough, the people there said they were sorry and they stopped their wicked ways. That made me mad too. They didn't deserve forgiveness. You can be sure I told God how angry I was. Even though I was enraged, God listened to me. God let me tell him how I felt. That didn't mean I was right, but God still listened. God will always listen to you too, even when you're upset and angry. If you ever feel mad at a person or a situation, Even God, you can tell him. You can tell God about it.
That's
and God,
amazing.
yes, it is, isn't it, Ruth? And God hears us too when we tell him how we feel. So on that little page, there's a little piece there that you can write your own prayer to God and tell him how you feel right now, especially if you're feeling a little bit angry with him. But there's also a really short little prayer. So Ruth, you're going to help me pray with that today?
Yes.
And children at home, you join in as well. Here we go. Dear God,
Dear God,
I don't like it when people I love fight with each other.
I really don't like it when people I love fight with each other.
It makes me so upset.
It really makes me upset.
And I don't like feeling that way.
And I don't like feeling that way.
Help me to find a way to stay positive.
Help me find a way to stay positive.
Amen.
Amen.
Brilliant. Well done, Ruth. And well done, children at home. Doesn't it feel good to get all those feelings of anger and frustration off our chest? And God is always there to listen. Isn't that amazing, Ruth?
So cool.
Brilliant. It's been lovely to pray with you again today, and I look forward to doing the same again next month. So for the meantime, goodbye.
Bye.
Sweet.
Yes?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Fish.
Fish who?
Bless you.
Oh no. Turnip, we're meant to be telling a little bit of the story.
A story.
Yes.
Oh.
All about Jonah.
Oh, sweet.
Yes, Turnip.
I've got a Jonah fact.
Go on.
Do you know Jonah's name means dove?
Wow. That is really cool.
I know.
So, according to the book of Matthew, Jonah is the only prophet that Jesus likened himself to.
What, like Jesus?
Yeah.
Like the Jesus?
Like the Jesus.
Oh.
And some of the experiences Jesus had was like what Jonah went through.
What? I'm confused.
Anyway, at first, we see Jonah is really scared, which causes him to run from God. He doesn't want to go to Nineveh, and Jonah feels like the people there are his enemies.
They're nasty.
But he chooses instead to go in the opposite direction.
Sweet.
Yes?
Which way?
That way.
That way.
That way. Oh dear. He then gets tossed overboard and he is swallowed by a giant fish.
A fish?
A bit like a whale, but we don't actually know whether it was a whale.
How big?
Really, really big.
Like this big.
This big. That big. The fish releases Jonah onto dry land, Turnip. And then he starts the 500-mile travel.
And with what?
Oh dear.
500
He goes to a place
and
called Nineveh to jumpstart a revival in the city.
Oh.
Jonah is considered the most effective of all prophets because he is able to persuade an entire population
An entire population.
to turn
That's
back
a
to
lot
God.
of people.
It's about 120,000 people.
That's a lot.
A lot of people.
Wow.
Well, today I'm going to be telling you the story of Jonah. So let's find out what he was up to. I wouldn't be telling you this story right now if God didn't give second chances. I'd still be fish food if he didn't, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Since I was a prophet, I had to tell people things God wanted them to hear. And they weren't usually good things. The people of the great city of Nineveh were bad, really bad, downright nasty, if we're being honest. And God wanted me to go and tell them that he was going to punish them big time. Me? No way, not a chance. After all, when God announces his judgment, people say they're sorry and then they start doing the right thing again. And they don't even get punished. That's just not fair. Plus, the people of Nineveh were mean, and I mean mean. So I jumped on a ship and headed in the opposite direction. But then a huge storm hit, and I'm pretty sure God made this happen. The wind and the rain and the waves got worse and worse, and the ship was going to sink any minute. Believe it or not, I was downstairs fast asleep. Running away from God is very tiring. The captain shook me awake, and when I saw the storm, I had a sinking feeling. The ship's crew realised that the storm was my fault because they heard I was running away from God. I told them to throw me overboard, but they didn't want to. When the storm beat down harder and harder, that made up their minds. They tossed me into the sea. 1, 2, 3, heave ho! Whoa! The second I hit the water, the storm stopped. I thought I was doomed. I began to sink down, down, down. The seaweed wrapped around my arms and my legs, and I watched my last few bubbles of air float away from me. Suddenly, God sent a big fish to swallow me up. There I was in the belly of a giant, stinky fish. Yuck! It was time for me to rethink my life. All I could do was pray. I tried to run away from God, but God chased me down and saved my life. He gave me more than I deserved, and I promised God next time I would do whatever He asked. God gave me a second chance. It was only fair that God gave Nineveh a second chance too. 3 days later, the fish spat me out onto the beach. Blech! This time I did what I was told, and I headed straight for Nineveh. I gave the people God's message that God's judgment would doom their city soon. And guess what? They turned away from the evil things they were doing. Every single one of those people in nasty Nineveh told God they were sorry, even the king himself. And then God changed his mind and decided not to destroy the city. Wow, that made me mad. I didn't like those mean people from Nineveh, and I was hoping that God would stick it to them. I trudged outside the city and I sat under a little shelter, fuming. It was hot outside and I was hot inside. But God caused a bush to grow big leaves over the shelter so that I would have some cool shade. I was grateful for the plant. But the next day, God let a worm eat the plant and it shriveled up and died. And I was hot-headed and mad again. One more time, God scolded me. Hey, Jonah, don't feel bad for a dead plant. Have compassion for the thousands of people in Nineveh who could have died. Wow. It's definitely a good thing that God is more merciful than I am, because if it was up to me, I'd probably just let those bad people get what they deserve. Thankfully, though, for all of us, God doesn't think that way. God is ready to show compassion and mercy to every one of us, even when we don't deserve it, especially when we don't deserve it. It can be hard sometimes for me to learn my lessons. Hopefully, you're a faster learner. take it from me. Follow God's example and show love to the people you know. All people.
So that is it from us this morning. I hope you have enjoyed absolutely everything that you have seen this morning, whether it's the story or the craft or the song. I'd love to know what your favourite thing is. Now, this is the book that we are reading from every month. Last month we heard about Noah being God's friend. Today we heard about Jonah being God's friend. And guess what? It means you at home can be friends with God too. Isn't that amazing? We will see you very soon. We miss you and we love you loads and loads. Bye guys.